Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class SHATTER. This figure came out in 2019 as part of Wave 6 of the Deluxe assortment, and represents her appearance in the 2018 film Bumblebee. As a polar opposite to Dropkick's earlier release in Wave 4, Shatter's first figure in the Studio Series line is based on her terrestrial alternate mode, a modified 1971 Plymouth GTX. This vehicle mode looks absolutely stunning, all boxy and straight edge like a 70s muscle car should. Transformers really needs more boxy car alternate modes in general, really. The best part about it is that nearly every single necessary detail is picked out in paint, from the front headlights and grille, to the silver pipes along the sides, to a red chevron and white 722 tampograph on either side of the rear, as well as the taillights. The only paint app I'd like to add to this mode would be to put something on the fog lights up top, though it looks fine as is. I really like the added roll cage, and the exposed engine block really sets the tone for the character. Shatter is a ruthless Decepticon warrior who takes no prisoners. It's true, just ask Cliffjumper. Transformation is where this figure begins to falter. You'll soon find out that Shatter is a shameless shell former, with the entire front of the car lifting away from the body. Entire top of the car. Transformation is where this figure begins to falter. You'll soon find out that Shatter is a shameless shell former, with the entire top of the car lifting away from the body. The process isn't even easy to initiate or fun to carry out, since the vehicle mode is so dense and there are tons of hard to reach tabs. And then bits start falling off. The two biggest offenders would be the outer thirds of the nose of the car, whose connections are tenuous at best when moved. Barring that, the arms are notorious for falling off as well, though it is possible to perform a full conversion while avoiding that, at least on my copy. I will admit that the tumbling of the engine block segment to reveal the head is a very nice touch and is the highlight of the transformation, though that isn't saying much. Shatter's robot mode actually looks pretty good, from a certain point of view. While she may at first look like she has the lithe but strong build of her on-screen model, turning her by as little as 5 degrees in any direction will show you that it was just a relief on the front of a mountain of kibble. Like, yeah, it's there if you're looking for it, but 90% of her vehicle mode is just hanging off her back, forming unflattering lumps. The car doors store behind her thighs in robot mode, but end up poking herself in the goddamned armpits. With all that out the way, let's just talk about what I like about this mode. I do like her lanky proportions once you kind of blur away the kibble from view. The gold and bronze intake detailing on her hips is a nice touch, and a cool allusion to her future jet alternate mode. The paintwork all across Shatter's body is nice, even if it's usually just uniform gunmetal accents. Oh, and forming her shoulder pads with just a random chunk of the car was a nice touch. The head sculpt is pretty weird, looking like a frog wearing a swim cap. This is because the figure was based on early concept art for the Bumblebee film, much in the same way as the Bumblebee that I looked at way back in review number 41. Here's hoping that the eventual jet mode Shatter features a more screen-accurate head. Shatter comes with 2 accessories, which are pretty well integrated. They don't have a name or anything, they're just 2 arm-mounted guns. Now officially, you're supposed to reattach them on the other side of the arm and rotate the bicep 180 degrees for vehicle mode, but you can suffice by keeping them where they are in robot mode. Now, Studio Series Shatter is one of those figures that on paper is pretty posable, but in practice is a completely different story. Let's start, as we do so often on this show, at the head. It's on a ball joint that can look left and right until the chin bangs on the collar piece. But it can look up, and it can look a little bit down, but not really. It can mostly just, look up and fly off into the stars. But this looking up bit allows Shatter to turn her head even further, which is very nice. It can't really tilt. I mean, it can, but you can't really get much out of it. But, that's your prerogative. The shoulders have a ball joint that goes all the way out and goes forward and backward, as long as it doesn't bang against literally everything else. It's pretty haphazard in its clearance, and it just gets in the way of so much. Or rather, so much gets in the way of the arms. But, you know, at the very least, she can... The biceps have a swivel just above the elbow, which goes all the way around, and the elbow bends more than 90 degrees, so I give this an A-OK good elbow joint ranking score. Nothing at the waist because of her transformation, which involves a completely fake set of headlights on her headlights. That always bugs me on figures. The hips have a ball joint that can do an impressively high kick on just one single joint. Like, that is some Fig Arts level high kick. As you can see, the headlight piece was pushed out of the way. I pushed it back, and now I can't get the leg back down because of all the cable. The legs only go out that far. It can't go out any further because God hates me or something. I don't know. There is a thigh swivel just above the knee, which can't go all the way around because of the cable. The knees are technically double jointed because there are two joints, but only one of them is really useful at any given time, and it's usually the upper one. And I can get just under 90 degrees, so it fails the 90 degree test for me, so into the trash she goes. God, I wish. And as you can see, while I've been posing her, I've been having a lot of trouble with this connecting joint here because it hangs on perfectly fine. Like, it's not gonna come out. I've been putting a bit too much force near the jointery here, causing a moment to occur and to untab it very easily. So that can be frustrating while posing, so keep an eye out on that. Finally, last and certainly least, the ankles. They can go backwards just a little bit, and they can go forwards by dislocating. And there's no pivot or anything, so it's pretty useless. Just like this figure, it's kinda trash.
Before I ended up getting Shatter, I only ever heard bad things about her, and they were all right. This figure is kibbly, not fun to transform, and is extremely lacking in functional articulation. All of that was there for a rather impressive vehicle mode, which I do have a soft spot for. It's easily the worst deluxe in the wave, going up against an amazing Constructicon and a repaint from the last night. I do not want to recommend this figure. However, she is the only quote-unquote mainline Shatter figure we have, and that vehicle mode is pretty awesome. If you really want a version of Shatter that turns into a muscle car, I just hope you know what you're getting into with this figure. Otherwise, I'd say hold out for the likely jet mode Shatter sometime down the line. This has been Kit Katastrophe. Transform and roll out.